Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Namaste, my friends. Honor to the all-pervasive divinity, the great and wondrous mystery that blesses us with this gift of life. Once again, we come together to contemplate to contemplate this gift of life that the mystery so generously shares with us. Let's turn within for a moment and Om Namo, I honor Bhagavate, the direct experience of Vasudevaya, Vasu, all-pervasive spirit, this all-pervasive being who unfolds her creative potency through everyone and everything. So let's just chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Mantra Yoga offers us resources for caring for this mental instrument, this mind. The mind is a wonderful, wonderful servant, but when it's not functioning properly, it's really a demon. And most of us have demonesque dimensions to our minds, and a chunk of life. It's valuable to devote a chunk of your intention and a chunk of your life to conquering this demon and healing and purifying the mind. And that's very much what we're doing here, because again, this question, how do I deal with my mind, is not unique to modern man. Western psychology is a couple hundred years old. It dates from Freud and Jung and a couple of German philosophers. But in India, psychology is tens of thousands of years old. And the efficacy of the techniques for conquering the mind, purifying the mind, healing the mind, has been demonstrated over the millennium. That is, for thousands and thousands of years, these techniques have been used to quiet, to purify, to heal the mind. So there's no technique more universally applied than mantra yoga. I thought this morning I would take some time to talk about the model that we've been sharing, the paradigm that we've been sharing. This is an incredible age that I've had the privilege of living in. First of all, I believe we live in an age of genius. I can't think of a time in history when so many people had so much freedom and so much affluence and so many resources for cultivating depth of whatever it is to become the fantastic ceramicist, to become an amazing musician. Look around you in your own community, the number of talented musicians, talented artists. And then if we go into any measure of thinking, whether it's mechanical, the genius of cultivating some element of engineering or some element of electronics in your understanding, or cultivating, breeding some kind of animal or flower, just never in this creation that I can think of, that we know of, has there been a time of such prosperity in which people have had the time, and then with the libraries and now the internet, the resources for going into tremendous depth and gathering information literally from a world, perhaps from a universe, to perfect their understanding. So I feel like we're living in a time of genius, and you are one of these geniuses who are having this tremendous opportunity to go really deeply into whatever it is that you are seeking. This was something that was reserved for those wealthy few at other times, and for those who were living in the urban cultural heartland in other times. And today um, just there's just an unbelievable renaissance of genius. So I like to call this the age of genius. So many of us had tremendous opportunities to go in this case, your depth as a spirituality, the teachers, the teachings that you have available to you are unparalleled in human history, perhaps. The second point I wanted to make this morning is I've had the good fortune to live in a time of a tremendous paradigm shift. When I was a young man in college, I had to walk by the Worcester rats every morning, and the stench of these lab rats every morning, these world famous lab rats that were the basis of the psychology of the day, because psychology was the study of the conditioning of rats. They thought that was what psychology was about. And all of the major universities and all of the greatest minds in the field were invested in studying these smelly rats. For my science, I took a rat psychology course, and I was at the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school, and there was a huge classroom, and then there were TAs who we got to interact with. So I was given a rat to train to demonstrate the efficacy of operant conditioning. And I wrote a paper saying, hey, my rat didn't learn anything. If I thought my rat learned something, I was obviously reading into the data. Instead of failing me immediately, the TA sent my paper up the line, and my paper got to the head of the department. And the head of the department called me in. He says, Mr. Berger, you're very self-righteous for someone who can't spell. And he said, you've missed the point of the course. And I said, well, I didn't miss the point of the course. I rejected the point of the course. I didn't see the data. I would be reading into it to say that my rat had learned anything from me. not easy to learn something from me. Ask this rat. In any case, he said, you can write the paper from our point of view, or you can fail the course. Me, with my immature and chameleon-like integrity, rewrote the paper, corrected the spelling, and got my D in the course, and ended up graduating from the Wharton School, the alma mater of President Trump. Who else went to Wharton? In any case, moving right along. So we're talking about a tremendous paradigm shift from a materialist, purely materialist, Newtonian, 19th century conception of the world to the 21st century conception of the world, which is a Gaia, a living, the Gaia hypothesis, a living earth, the tremendous awareness of the interdependency of all dimensions of our ecosystem, and then a rapprochement between science and spirituality, which and a movement towards an understanding of the primacy of consciousness in every dimension of science. When I was a young man in graduate school, there was a school called phenomenology that asked, how can we know anything until we know how we know? And the old German professors would just literally sitting there contemplating, how can I know knowing? Fundamental question. Unless I know, how can I know what I know? In any case, there's been a tremendous movement towards understanding the primacy of consciousness and the universality of consciousness. I've always been amazed at how, I don't know the correct term, Western-centric our thinking has been, how ignorant these great thinkers who influenced Western intellectual history, how ignorant they've been of Eastern philosophy and the wisdom of Eastern philosophy. I once went thoroughly through Wilhelm Reich's work, which focuses on orgone, prana, life force, and he's writing in the 1940s and 50s, and has access to libraries around the world, and he's ignorant of life force, and no one's pushing him in the direction of understanding the Eastern concept of life force, or what's offered to him in the East. This is the kind of parochialism that you tend to find in the Western academy. In any case, I want to talk to you about the model that I've been articulating here, and the synthesis that has come through my contemplation and realization of the Sanatana Dharma. The philosophy there are a number of orthodox philosophies in India, and they can be described as being panentheist. Pantheism means everything's divine, and panentheism means everything is both eminently divine and transcendently divine. That not only is everything we can experience divine, but it's rooted in a transcendence. And of course, that transcendence, that eminence is the self, the part of you, the lucidity that allows you to see, to hear, to touch, to taste, to feel, to be present. And it is argued that same lucidity is transcendent, unborn, undying, everywhere, always, eternal, forever and ever and ever. That this lucidity, this cognizance, this presence is universal, is ubiquitous. In recent years, a number of Westerners have claimed, Stan Grof, Abraham Maslow, have claimed to have founded something called transpersonal psychology. In India, they've been practicing transpersonal psychology for thousands of years. And as valuable as Abraham Maslow's work is in turning psychology in the West away from rats, or as profound and valuable as Dr. Groff's work is in redefining the dimensions of consciousness in Western psychology, um, they're still dwarfed by both the accomplishments, the cosmology, and the resources offered in the Sanatana Dharma, in the credible civilization of India. Now, just in passing, one of the interesting things about the civilization of India is we're living in the darkest expression of it. We're living in the Kali Yuga, that it is an unwinding of creation from the purest birth, like a baby so pure. And we're crotchety old men now, we're a poor reflection in some ways of the creation that was birthed here in this Kali Yuga. But in any case, as poor of the reflection, we still have available to us a wisdom that has been passed on for some say tens of thousands of years. There's archaeological evidence and astronomical evidence of this culture blossoming 30 to 40,000 years ago, and tales of how tough it was during the Ice Age, and archaeological remnants off the coast of India of a vast civilization that was inundated as the ice melted. In any case, I want to talk about the model that I share with you, and then we'll practice our mantra yoga. The model that I share with you is called an evolutionary model. In the cosmology of the Sanatana Dharma, the foundation is Brahman. Brahman is being, all-pervasive existence, omnipresent existence. Now, Brahman is without quality. Brahman is pure cognizance, pure awareness. It's outside of time, space, and causality. It's precursor to time, space, and causality. And so Brahman is outside of this dimension, and so it's unlimited by any of the qualities of this dimension, any of the laws of our physics, Newtonian physics. So Brahman is existence. Brahman is considered the Godhead, because Brahman is a intelligence. So even though Brahman is beginningless in vis-a-vis our dimension, and without quality vis-a-vis our dimension, it is described as Sat Chit Ananda, being, existence, consciousness, omniscience, and bliss, ecstasy. Sat Chit Ananda, existence, aware of this existence, and in the ecstasy of this awareness. Now, though Brahman is outside of time, space, beyond time, space, and causality, not perceivable to the senses, because Brahman is the subject and the senses are concerned with the objects. So Brahman is the universal subject that experiences all objects. All the teachings say all eyes are his eyes, all ears are his ears, all touch is his touch. That he's seeing, hearing, feeling through everyone and everything. That Brahman is the knower in everyone and everything. Unborn, undying, everywhere, always, eternal, forever and ever. Though Brahman is unborn and lies outside of this dimension, Brahman's nature is creativity. This is what S. Radhakrishnan, the philosopher, the first president of India, when it found its freedom, they made a philosopher their first president. So Ramakrishna tells us it is the nature of the absolute to unfold its creative potency, and it unfolds its creative potency as a life breath. That everything that moves everything that moves are the waves of the life breath of a living universe, the waves of the life breath of the absolute. And this life breath is called Brahma, which means ever expanding, ever evolving waves of life force. And in this understanding, everything that moves is moved by the life breath of a living universe. So, in exactly the same way as the breath animates every dimension, every layer of this life field of your body, it doesn't begin and end of your body. That Brahma, the life breath of a living universe, animates every dimension from the quark to galaxy, that everything is breathing as one. I think it's Plotinus who says all things breathe as one. But I don't think that the Westerners who use this quote and find this quote mesmerizing and filled with potential don't understand that the universe is a single living, breathing, conscious organism. And as above, so below. Every dimension of macrocosm and microcosm is a unity. And that's the hypothesis I would propose as being most fruitful. Of course, I can't prove it. It's only the fruit of my realization. And indeed, in this understanding here, we live in this ocean of life breath, and breath is breathing you. You think you're breathing, but breath is breathing you, that you are an expression of the unfolding of the creative potency of life. Everyone and everything is being breathed as a manifestation of the evolution of the creative potency of the life breath of the one life. Everything is a vector to express the creative potency, that every flower is blossoming, every species of feline and caline, every dimension of crystal and every vector of possibility and consciousness is unfolding the creative potency of this great and wondrous creative intelligence that we call life. Now, we've been sharing, so the next development of this thought is, so we're talking about Nada Brahma. Nada Brahma means that all nada vibration is a reflection of Brahman, that all vibration is the vibration of the absolute unfolding its creative potency, that all vibration is sacred, that all vibration is pregnant with ultimate intelligence and a vehicle for the unfolding of the creative potency of this ultimate intelligence. It's funny, recently I've been contemplating the holographic nature of vibration, and I don't think the holographic nature of vibration does justice. It turns out that Sankhya, this ancient philosophy, which is the basis of the six orthodox philosophies of Asia, is the fruit of a sage, is credited to a sage called Kapila, who codified this. But it said that Kapila was an avatar, an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So he was trying to communicate to us that every quark of creation is not merely a wave and is not merely two-dimensional or even three-dimensional, that every quark of creation is not merely holographic, but it's polygraphic or multigraphic. That every quark of creation is interdimensional, is a portal to interdimensional possibility and reflection of interdimensional wholeness. That it's not just three-dimensional, it's x-dimensional or n-dimensional. I don't know I'm not a theoretical physicist. I don't know how to express these things. So when we're talking about holographic knowledge, we're not just talking about 3D holographic knowledge. We're really talking about polygraphic knowledge or multigraphic knowledge. And because we're talking about not just pluralistic universe. Yeah, we're talking about pluralistic universe is pregnant in each quark and unfolding from each quark of possibility. Perhaps this is wild speculation, which perhaps a mathematician can unfold the logic of it, but I'm not the one to do any of this. So we're talking about the evolutionary model, and in this evolutionary model, the universe, of course, is highly, highly, highly organized. One can predict an eclipse 5,000 years from now down to the nanosecond. That's how deeply organized nature is and how harmonious these cycles are and how harmonious the integration of these cycles are. That the universe is incredibly coherent and harmonious. And one of the reasons is because just like a pair of noise-canceling headphones is able to take the wave of the noise and create a counter wave which silences that and creates a stillness. The universe has two basic hands, two basic forces, yang and yin, the expanding and the contracting breath, the evolutionary and involutionary breath. And each point that any dimension from quark to galaxy of these two cycles interact, there's a still point of sattva guna. Any point that the involutionary and evolutionary force of rajas and tamas, yang and yin, electro and magnetic, acid and alkaline touch each other, there's a still point which is neutral and entrains with sattva, with being, the force of equilibrium in nature, so that the system self-corrects in every cycle. The system purifies and harmonizes in every cycle. Now, we've been talking about life, we've been talking about living energy fields, and Umberto Maturana and the Umberto Maturana, the founder of the Chilean School of Biology, tells us that the Santiago School of Biology tells us the definitive characteristic of life is cognizance, that life fields are self-organizing, self-creating, self-generating, self-maintaining, that in a sense, every living thing, every living cell is cognizant of its dharma, cognizant of what of its dharma. Dharma is a place in creation that you uphold and upholds you. That every living cell is cognizant of its dharma, its definitive state, and is invested in maintaining the homeostasis through a cybernetic process. Now, making this possible is this universal cognizance, this knowing, this lucidity, this presence. So we're saying that all life fields are fields of awareness and are invested in maintaining the homeostasis that defines that field and the processes that allow it to create, to generate, and to recreate itself. And so in a sense, a field is pure awareness, and it registers any disturbance in that field that taxes the dharma, the homeostasis of that field. Now, I would like to use the term awareness for this all-pervasive ether. We live in an all-pervasive ocean of awareness. But then when this awareness becomes aware of a disturbance in the field, we call that consciousness. When awareness is aware of something, I would call that consciousness. So we live in an all-pervasive ether of awareness. It's called, again, the term is akasha, ether. The sages call this akasha, ether. And we live in this all-pervasive akasha, which again, think about the Akashic records, which is holographic. And again, it can only do its thing because again, we study, you are the key to the mystery of creation because we look at your body and the dynamics of your field. This atom can only do what it's doing. This molecule can only do what it's doing. This cell can only do what it's doing.
This is a reminder.
Because it is nested in the cognizance of the totality of the organism. So every level of microcosm is totally integrated in the macrocosm. Every level of the macrocosm is totally integrated into the microcosm. So the atom can only maintain its dharma because it's cognizant of purna, of totality. And totality can only maintain its dharma because it's aware of the atom. So if the atoms in your body went off their own way, who knows what would happen to the body? Well, or if the body went off its own way, who knows what would happen to the atom? You hear that? So the microcosm and macrocosm at each level definitively are in communication with each other, and all of the processes of self-correction are involved on all of these dimensions. Sages have used the term holarchy to describe the way energy fields nest. So atoms are independent in maintaining the conditions that define their homeostasis, and they're nested in fields of molecules, and the atoms are doing their best to dance in harmony with the molecules, and the molecules are doing their best to operate as a whole with the atoms, that everyone is a self, so that these fields are nested in hierarchies of wholeness, because each is incredibly complex. I've heard it said that one cell is as complex as the things that are going on in the city of Tokyo. So if you think of all the people and all the things they're doing, and all the dimensions of weather and life that are happening in the city of Tokyo, and realize that's how complex one cell is. We're again awed by this intelligence and the dynamics of this intelligence as we speculate about it. So we're talking about nested hierarchies of energy fields, of living organisms, as holarchies of nested hierarchies of wholeness, each dimension, each field independent, but unified by a universal intelligence, a universal cognizance, which we call Brahman, the absolute, Sat Chitananda. And we're talking about the quality that allows each dimension to maintain its homeostasis as discriminating wisdom, that it understands its dharma, and it has the ability to maintain that homeostasis in a cybernetic mechanism. And I want to call this level of cognizance, this level of awareness, discriminating wisdom. And it's the basis of form. And it's embodied in the feminine. It's one of the qualities of tamas guna. In the model given to us, Sankhya, Kapila, the avatar Kapila describes the atomic realm and describes fields and the knower of the fields, describes the fields as sattva being, rajas, expansion, creation, and tamas, the crystallization of energy into form. The definitive quality of tamas guna is this discriminating wisdom. I think that tamas guna gets a bad rap because tamas means to perish, and tamas describes the crystallization of consciousness into form. The tamas, rajas is masculine, tamas is feminine, and it gets a bad rap as most feminine things do in, in our history. But tamas is this discriminating wisdom that allows for science, allows for art, allows for beauty. And if we think about how it is embodied in the feminine, the kind of wisdom and beauty and integrity that defines the feminine, that the feminine judgment is much more mature than masculine judgment typically. It's much deeper. And the feminine dharma is much more pure and supports life with much more wisdom typically than a masculine dharma. In any case, I invite you to re-examine your view of tamas guna, because again, in this model, we have the first 6 months of the year and the last 6 months of the year, that this spectrum is where we get to really look at the consciousness, the archetypal consciousness that underlies the order of creation and the spectrum of consciousness that's played out in every level of this hologram, this holograph, this polygraph. Let's see, what's where we're trying to develop here. Polydimensional. That there is an underlying implicit order in everything. And this implicit order in every level of microcosm and macrocosm is expressed most graphically in the spectrum of consciousness that we see played out in the cycle of the year. And that's the place where these archetypes have been studied. And the order of creation, the spectrum of consciousness, and the way it's embodied have been most profoundly studied in the astrological community and in archetypal astrology and archetypal psychology. But this is the explicit order, and this order is implicit in every breath of a living cosmos. And these dimensions of consciousness are reflections of the wholeness inherent in the nature of this life energy, which underlies manifestation, that life is made of wholeness. Life only works because it's cognizant of totality, and totality only works because it's cognizant. There's a tremendous omnipresence that's making this movie possible. Not that I really understand that much about this movie. So I thank you for your focus and attention as I rave about this wondrous gift of life. I wish more of you were here live so we could chat about this today, but my attempts to get in touch with a live audience didn't really pan out that well. So here I am once again, hoping I'm making sense and hoping you'll find this insightful or valuable in some way. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. I think we want to go now to our sound bath, our Gayatri Pranayam, and to do the practice and experience the fruit of this purification practice in our heart mind. In our understanding, the mind is the surface of the heart, and the heart is the depth of the mind. There's only one energy here, and we can purify every dimension of that energy. We can heal the heart with these practices. So I hope you find this useful. Thank you for your focus and attention. So we want to be sitting straight with our spine erect. And we're going to focus on the root chakra at the tip of the tailbone, the sacrococcygeal juncture, as we chant Om Bur. Bur is the seed syllable, the vibratory quintessence, which activates this loka, this dimension. And the color for the earth is the color of molten lava. The earth is very dense, and so it's energized by its entrainment with Jupiter. And then at the sacral lumbar juncture, the sacrum is a chalice where this essence expands. And the color here is flame. And this is a quality of consciousness which we call Brihaspati or Guru, Jupiter, which accelerates our evolution into the light and is the reason why tamas, which is embodiment, is as ecstatic as it is, because tamas are the flame burning on the earth, the light of life rising back up, the evolutionary currents which are taking our experience of life and reaching back to the potential of knowledge, of self-knowledge of who we are. And then we come to the solar plexus, and the color is luster, this translucent light of life field. And so Om Bur, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha, and then at the heart chakra, Om Maha. Maha is intelligence, perhaps. And Maha is the neutral field, the still point between heaven and earth. The color of Maha is the emerald earth. And think about how anytime you go into nature, you immediately entrain with her, because that is your nature. You are one with this purity. You are one with this quintessence of harmony and alignment with totality. You are part of nature, and you are a purest expression of that. Nothing can disturb your fundamental attunement to nature. That this wholeness is radically overdetermined in creation. Sattva guna is radically overdetermined. So the power of nature is without parallel. So anytime you go into nature and you start breathing in nature, you immediately entrain with a much deeper level of your own self, especially if you can be around water and the song that this living goddess is singing. So Om Bur, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suva, Om Maha, the very essence. Om Jnana, the throat chakra, that's one with the infinite sky and this knowledge which we're made of. Om Tapa at the third eye. Desire, passion, intention, magnetism, think about the way desire runs our life. Our lives are run by fear and lust, fear and desire. The tapa rules our life, and the game is to turn that tapas, to turn it inward, to take your pain, which is your best ally, and turn it towards liberation. Tapa is that turning, is focusing your pain towards liberation. So you don't have to put yourself in the middle of a fire or stand in the Ganga for a decade. You have to just realize the pain that you're in your ignorance, and turn that into a desire, a passionate, fundamental desire for your liberation. And then at the third eye, Om Satyam, being. And then we go to the crown and we focus on that which is worthy of worship, that it may inspire our liberation. So let us spend about 10 to 15 minutes chanting the Gayatri Pranayama. Gayatri song, Surya Gayatri, the vibratory quintessence of Savitri, the intelligence which illuminates the Akashaganga, the Milky Way, the light of infinite galaxies. And it is the same light that is illuminating your presence, your lucidity, your cognizance, because you are an atom in the body of totality, and your balance is informed by totality, and your dance is affecting totality. So let's try to keep it together.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसोऽमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवः स्वरो। तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसोऽमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवः स्वरो। तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसोऽमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवः स्वरो। तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ आपो ब्रह्मभूर्भुवः स्वरो ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यम् ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ आपोज्योति रसोऽमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवः स्वरो ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यम् ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ आपोज्योति रसोऽमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवः स्वरो ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यम् ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ आपोज्योति रसोऽमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवः स्वरो ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यम् ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ आपोज्योति रसोऽमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवः स्वरो ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यम् ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ आपोज्योति रसोऽमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवः स्वरो ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यम् ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसोऽमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुव स्वरो ॐ
Last time.
ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यम् ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसोऽमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुव स्वरो ॐ
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We dedicate our efforts to a vision of a springtime of humanity, where all humanity makes a leap in consciousness and realizes the unity and divinity of all life, where we cherish our Mother Earth as our own dear mother, where we share with each other as brothers and sisters. At the end of this video, there's a link to chant this mantra 27 times, 27, 54, 108, a quarter of the harmonic of 108. And you're welcome to do that now or when you have a moment on sunrise or sunset, particularly on a full moon, solstice or equinox. When there's a deeper level of coherence, you're invited to chant this on your birthday or other auspicious day. So God is blessed. I hope you're finding this useful. Om Namah Shivaya. We honor that incredible ecstasy, which is the consciousness we're experiencing in this gift of life. To be continued.